Well, thank you so much, Sandra, for your introduction. My name is Qihui Jin, and I'm a licensed acupuncture practicing Chinese medicine and acupuncture in New York and New Jersey. And I'm also a certified social worker in New Jersey. A little bit introduction of myself. I was born in and raised in Shanghai, China. I moved to New York City after I graduated from Shanghai University of Traditional Chinese Medicine. And I studied a master's degree in Pacific College of Health and Science in acupuncture. And I also studied with TCM Master Dr. Liu Lihong at Sanhe at Academy of TCM in 2020. And also completed the first official certification program in pediatric acupuncture in the United States through Jinshen Pediatrics with Moshe Heller and Dr. Stephen Calvin. I'm also served as an executive board member of both the United Alliance of New York State Licensed Acupuncturists and Young Acupuncturist Association of America. So I've been practicing and studying for over a decade, and I have a lot of experience in treating fertility, pediatrics, pain management, mental health, and chronic conditions. So one question that Sandra brought up was that do we need certain training or education? So the answer is yes. So the program I had in China was a bachelor minor degree, which is 3 years. But usually in a regular medical school in China, that takes 5 years, 7 years, or even longer. And they usually do a lot of grand round and fellowship as the Western medical doctors do. And in the United States, we have basically 2 programs that train acupuncturists and Chinese medicine practitioners. It's either 3 years or 4 years. With the 4 years, you have not only acupuncture training, but also herbal medicine training. And in order to practice in the States, we have to be licensed and obtain a certification through the national board. So today I'm going to talk about Chinese medicine and acupuncture. I know these words are trending in the last, I would say 5 to 10 years, right? And it's becoming more and more popular. But in my practice, I meet a lot of patients, and I still think that there's more education that needs to take place in the public in order to help people to understand how Chinese medicine is different from Western medicine and other modalities. So today we're gonna start with explaining these words first. So you see there are 4 characters here, and if you read it in the Chinese way, it's gonna be from top to bottom and from right to the left. So the first 2 characters means Chinese medicine. It's called Zhong Yi. And the second one is Zhong Yao. That means Chinese herbal medicine. So when we speak of Chinese medicine, we a lot of time we focus on where it comes from. But Chinese medicine, I think it's not the exact translation that we is supposed to use. But like even if you look at the word China, it's called 中国. There's a character of 中 in there, and by looking at it, you can probably tell it looks like a flag, right? So when you claim a territory or like a land, that you put a flag there to claim that, oh, this is the center of the land and this is our land, right? So I think in China, and the word 中 is coming from that idea. And the 中 here means centeredness. It's a state of balance. impartiality and harmony, and it is not extreme. In Zhongguo, it's usually mean a nation that are rooted in balance and harmony, and that's a deeper meaning behind China. It's not about access or deficiency. It's about being aligned, grounded, and in the right place. So when it comes to Zhongyi, it means it's a medicine that guided by principle of centeredness. And if you look at the character of Yi, it has the top part and the bottom part here. And the top part represents the act of intervention, and the bottom part symbolize the medicinal substance or alcohol that we use in the medicine. And if you look at this part here, the top right part, it looks like there's a hand holding a tool. So that's really what we are doing in the medicine. And together, these elements tell us about the medicine. It's not merely about treating disease, but about applying the right intervention at the right time to guide the body back to its natural state of balance. And then if we look at the two characters on the left side, the character for medicinal herb has the top of grass because it's plant related, it's herbal related. So that has a grass top radical here, but the bottom is actually the traditional form of instrument in Chinese history, and that means music. So we can say that Chinese herbal medicine is derived from music. And if we look at the two characters of acupuncture and moxibustion, so the top one means needle, and the bottom one is the moxa or moxibustion. And the character of needle has two parts. The left part, the radical, represents metal. That means, at the time of this character was created, people have already started using a metal needle to perform, to use in daily life. But before that, people actually use mammals' teeth, like elephant teeth, to perform acupuncture. The part of the needle on the right side is actually from the book of I Ching, hexagram 31. It's called Xian, and what it means is a resonance and a response. So this really means that acupuncture isn't just a mechanical treatment. It's really about triggering a response. It is a gentle stimulation that helps wake up the body's natural ability to regulate and rebalance itself. In Zhou, here you can see there is something look like fire, right? That means we need to use fire to perform moxibustion, and moxibustion is a big part of Chinese medicine as well. Yes. Okay, so can you see it now? Okay, let me see. So, because I have to look at the notes, so I'm gonna use another. Let's do it this way. Yeah. Okay. That's better, right? So let's quickly go back to this pages. Also, one thing I forgot to mention. When I talk about the music the relation to music, there's a saying about this word is that when the melody concludes, illness resides, and the harmony is restored. So before a medicinal herb is used, people actually can perform music to heal illness. Okay. All right. So in order to understand Chinese medicine, there's something you cannot miss, and this is one of the most important classic book. It's called Inner Canon of Yellow Emperor, Huangdi Neijing. So this book was gathered and accumulated and organized between 475 BC and 220 AD. So that's about anywhere between 1800 and 2500 years ago. So this book is considered the fundamental doctrinal source for Chinese medicine for over 2,000 years, as well as the foundation of Taoist theory in the lifestyle medicine. And this book was written, as I mentioned before, it's accumulated. So it's not written by the Yellow Emperor, but because of the importance of it, so people usually like to name it after an important figure in history. So that's why it's named after Yellow Emperor. This book also covers theoretical foundation of Chinese medicine and its diagnostic methods. And it also discusses acupuncture therapy in great details. So this is the second book I wanted to mention that's about herbal medicine. It was named after Shen Nong, divine farmer. So Shen Nong actually is the one who, there's a legend about him. So one day he tasted hundreds of herbs and test their medicinal value. He was poisoned for 72 times and was treated by tea. So he also discovered tea because he found that tea can be eaten as an antidote against the poisonous effect of those herbs. He also discovered marijuana, right? He created acupuncture, but also Chinese piano. This is called guqin, and guqin is one of the earliest instruments in China. So in this book, Classic of Materia Medica has included 365 herbal herbs derived from minerals, plants, and animals. So when we talk about herbs in a Chinese medicine concept, we're not just talking about plants. That includes minerals, plants, and animals products as well. Okay. And there are many important concepts in Chinese medicine, in order to help you understand the topics we're gonna talk about later. We're gonna start with explaining what qi means, and what is qi dynamics, and what is qi transformation. So qi is a very subtle kind of substance that exists throughout the universe. It is always moving, but you cannot see or touch it. So it's even smaller than I think the smallest is an atom and a proton, right? And that's even the qi is even smaller than that. It cannot be detected by microscope. So everything in the universe that has a form everything that has a form is formed by qi, and the qi is the invisible part of it. Now it comes the question that what if something has already dead? Does it have qi? The answer is yes, but consider that the qi also has a move. So let's talk about qi dynamics first. So qi dynamics means the movement of qi. It's so without the movement, qi is still and there's no life. And there's qi dynamics in the body as well as in the universe, right? As you can see that the Earth is constantly spinning counterclockwise, right? And also you see this is called nautilus. It's form. You see the form, see the shape. There's a clockwise formation, right? And also in our DNA, there's a double helix structure. So because of the movement of qi, things comes to life. So when something become dead, the qi stops moving. So the qi is still there, but it stopped moving. And because of the movement of the qi, as a result, there is qi transformation. And this is how your body uses qi to process, to transform, and to regulate everything inside. And I think a lot of people have heard of Tai Chi, and it's also sometimes called Tai Chi, right? And Tai Chi is actually not just the Tai Chi Chuan or Tai Chi movement. It's a concept. And Tai Chi Chuan, Tai Chi movement is actually created based on the idea or the concept of Tai Chi. And the Tai Chi is considered the original unified state of the universe before differentiation in the dynamic process of movement in the transformation. So consider Tai Chi is one whole, and if you want to divide it into two parts, now it comes yin and yang. So if you look at the character yin and yang here, you see the left part is the radical for mountain, and the other part, the right part of, so the first character is yin and this is yang. So in yin, in the right part represents a cloud. So when there's cloud by the mountain, that means there's no sunlight, right? There's more darkness, more coolness. There's more stillness. And there's in the character of yang, you see there's sun there, right? And that's when the sunlight is shining on the mountain. So that represents warmth, active, outward, right? So I think so this is consider this is an image. So when we look at the mountain with sun, we think about more yang energy, more warmth. So it's not just that image means yang, or the shady and the shady mountain is the yin. So anything that resonates with the same energy can be considered yin, or it can be considered yang. And here I put some images here that I wanted to just talk a little bit about the origin of Chinese dragon. So there are 7 star groups on the sky that ancient Chinese observed the heaven to determine when is the best time to perform, farming. So that's actually, as you can see in the bottom, in the middle, that's the original character of the word dragon, and that's from how people look at the sky and see the image on the sky, and that's a dragon shape. And the dragon was because it's constantly like moving because the earth is spinning. So that's how the idea of Tai Chi was derived. So now let's get into more daily life and the practical part of Chinese medicine. People come to see Chinese medicine doctors because they're sick, but historically, because we, as a form of treatment, that we not only perform treatments, but also we can help prevent illness. So how we actually get sick, how we actually started having symptoms. So usually, as I said, as I talked about qi, it is a invisible existence, right? So before the symptoms show up, that there's something else is going on actually. So in this section, we're going to talk about how we get sick and how Chinese medicine look at etiology. So in this slide, we can, on the top left, so that's an image of evil. So the evil, the word evil is the translation of 邪. It's the opposite of 正, means righteousness. As we talk about yin and yang, they're opposite, they're interconnected. So there is always there's a duality there. So if we have the strong immune system, right? But there's also like something that we call it evil in nature that can affect us to break the balance in our body. So that's from the environmental perspective. So because we encounter those 邪 or evil, then we get sick, right? And there's another cause of disease called epidemic. And also our emotion can cause disease, right? Stress, fear, even overjoy, right? That can cause illness. And poor nutrition or poor food choice, right? Overworking, lifestyle can weaken our immune system. But also there's trauma, physical injury can cause illness. The 6 evils are the most important things before we treat a person. So that's how we diagnose what is actually going on the level of qi. So as you can see here, we have 6 evils. There are wind, cold, summer heat, dampness, dryness, and fire. So what are they? What exactly? So consider that they are not something visible, or it's actually when we always when somebody comes to me, we don't see wind, we don't find cold, but we what we determine what's going on is by looking at their body image, their tongue, their pulse, and the questions we asked. So really, when we talk about those evils, it's really a reaction, the body's reaction to the external environment and how that manifests in the body. So with wind, we see a lot of movement, like tremoring, right? Itchiness, has a wind image in it, and coldness, shivering, cold extremities, slow movement, right? Those are related to cold. And what about dampness? Dampness usually means like sluggish or heaviness, or like sweating, those type of symptoms. And dryness, usually like dry eyes, dry lips, dry mouth, constipation. But also these are somehow season related, because for example, the ancient Chinese discovered that in the springtime there's more dampness and it could be very windy, so there might be more skin itchiness, right? Skin issues, or even like strokes or high blood pressure. Those are wind-related conditions. And in the summertime, there is more heat, right? But also, of course, not only from the environment, but also from artificial environment. Like in the summertime, we are all staying in cold environment, like inside, like with air conditioning, right? That's we consider artificial, man-made evil. So that can also create a chance for the body to be exposed to those evil. And dryness is more common in the fall, right? And you can see that the plants get dry out, and we have dry skin, constipation, and you probably need more moisturize. Also fire can happen in any time, could be in any season, and also I think it's related to like radiation, heat stroke, or like food, right? Because that some spicy food can produce a lot of heat in the body. So any of these evil can lead to imbalance of yin and yang. So I'm gonna read this to you. Oh, there's one thing else I wanted to mention here. So actually, I can talk about it later. So I want to read this to you for now. Now in illness, there are cases where the internal condition is the same, but the external manifestation differ, and also cases where the internal condition differs while the external signs appear the same. Therefore, the states of excess and the deficiency of the 5 zang organs, or the 6 food organs, as well as the flow of or obstruction of blood vessels and the nutritive and the defensive qi, cannot be discerned by the eyes and the ears alone. One must first conduct carefully examination in the diagnosis in order to understand them. So this is really how our ancestor that use our sensory organs to detect early arise of illness in the body, and not only using our eyes, ears, but also using palpation. So starting now, I'm going to talk about the 4 pillars of Chinese medicine diagnoses. we believe that the inner state of the body reveals itself through external signs. So without microscope, without imaging technology, how do we know what's going on in the body? We use our eyes, we look at the tongue, we use our ears and nose to smell and listen, and we also ask questions, and then we feel the body, we palpate the body. So when we do inspection, we look at somebody, not just the tongue or the face, we look at their movement, we look at their complexion, we look at their eyes and see there is actual communication going on through the eyes. And each information can be analyzed in the framework of Yin and Yang, or the 5 elements, or 5, it's called Wu Xing, which we don't have time to talk about today, but it's another theoretic, it's another theory that helps us to look at the relationship between science and illness. So as you can see the image of the face here, and it's marked with names of different body parts and organs. So if there's something, happen inside that, your face, some parts of the face can have corresponding like redness or like some marks there. This is from a Taoist practice. So before, for those who practice Taoism, they actually have more ability than we do. Like they can feel and see what's going on in the body and find a connection between these information. One thing I want to mention here is skin disease. So skin, although it's the biggest organ in the body, but as I just mentioned, that inner state of the body reveals itself through external signs. So when having any skin issue, it's in Chinese medicine, we have to look at what's the imbalance in the body in order to address the skin, the issue that shows up on the skin. So it's actually a result of internal disease. And we also look at the tongue, and because the tongue help us judge the exuberance and the liberty of the right qi. The right qi, as I mentioned earlier, was the righteousness qi. It's our immune system. And it differentiates the depths of the illness. So we usually look at the tongue coating, the tongue shape, the tongue color, and the color of the tongue coating. So each one represents some information for us. For example, the tongue coating, in a normal, healthy person, usually the tongue looks like it's well shaped, and there should be no scallops, no tooth marks, and there should be a thin white coat on top. It's not thick, but you have to have some sort of coating on it. If you see somebody has no coating, that means some sort of deficiency in the body. And the whole tongue in different area, as you can see in the middle, you see the stomach and the spleen, which represents the digestive system, right? And the sides are the liver and the gallbladder. The bottom is the kidney and the intestines, and the lung and the heart at the tip. if you have ever like stay up too late and you will probably notice a red tip here in the next morning. And each information has different meaning. Like cracked means if there's a crack here, that means deficiency, or swollen means dampness. Pale means blood deficiency usually, and redness means heat, not resting well, right? Yellow, thick tongue coating means dampness or phlegm. And yellow is usually means there's some heat in the body. So maybe you can, after the presentation, you can look at your tongue and record your tongue image over time and compare them and find some information about your health. We also listen and smell. If someone come to for acupuncture and you talk to them, you can hear their voice. Is their voice hoarse? Is it very low or very loud? Or so you can tell from those information whether their body is having more excess condition or deficient condition. And you can also smell if there's any body odor, or is there any odor in the mouth. That also give us a lot of information. So in inquiry, this is similar to what we do in Western medicine, but we also not only ask for their medical history, their name, their age, their gender, right, their occupation, those basic information, but also we ask about their lifestyle, how active they are, and also we ask whether there are any triggering factors, what make the symptoms worse, what makes it better, right? And we ask for signs and symptoms like whether they have more heat signs or cold signs, any body aches, headaches, right? Also their appetite, their sleep. We actually ask a lot of very broad variety of questions. And if we are treating a women, we also ask about their menstrual cycle. So this probably in Western medicine, only if you go to see a gynecologist, they will ask those questions. But if I'm seeing a female patient, I always ask their menstrual cycle. And we do a lot of palpation, and there's also recorded in Chinese medicine texts as a practice guideline that in order to do acupuncture, you have to know how to palpate their pulse. You have to check their pulse, not only to get the idea of how what their pulse rate is, but also like what the quality of the pulse is. So on this is our on the wrist, there are 6 positions that represents different parts of the body or the different parts of the organ system, so usually in a normal person, that the pulse should be moderate, and when they compared to their breathing, there should be 1 breath equal to 2 beats of the pulse, and that's considered a normal rate. When we palpate the pulse, we simply put the fingers on the positions, and we feel whether there's it is thin or wide, is it floating or deep. You can determine whether they have like heat signs or cold signs, or there's any deficiency or excess by checking their pulse. And also because they're corresponding to the heart meridian, the liver meridian, or the kidney meridian, you can tell whether the condition or the root of the issue or the evil is either in the heart or the liver or where it is. So you know which channel you can look into, which organ system, what imbalance of the relationship is going on behind the scene. So this is a normal pulse, description. A pulse that is even, balanced, gentle, and harmonious is the essential formula of the normal pulse. Its coming and going are well regulated, neither excessive in arrival or deficient in departure, neither exuberant in coming nor weakened in going. The spirit and the qi are abundant, and that the body is supple and well nourished. In such a pulse, none of the pathological pulse qualities can be detected. This indicates strong stomach qi, harmony, and the absence of disease. The true normal pulse. So when stomach qi is abundant and the pathological pulses are feel, recovery is easy. When stomach qi is weak and the pathological pulses are many, the condition is severe. When pathological pulses are excess and the stomach qi is extremely deficient, death is likely. So by taking the pulse, not only you can tell where the evil is, but also you can tell the progression of the illness. Is the patient getting better or getting worse? And every time I take pulse before I inserting the needles, and I take the pulse again after inserting the needles to confirm whether the needles has already start working. And then I take the pulse again after I remove those needles in 30 minutes. So you can tell whether they are entering a better stage of health. So that's without any medical device, we can tell whether a treatment is effective or the person is getting better or not by these practice. So I'll take the last 10 minutes to briefly explain Chinese acupuncture. So acupuncture is one of the many modalities in Chinese medicine. We use we can jump to this slide. So we use acupuncture needles. We also use moxibustion to perform a heat-related therapeutic method. We also use cupping. We use gua sha, which is a skin scraping technique. We also use food therapy because, as you can tell, that Chinese medicine is very holistic. We consider all the natural components are related to our health. So by eating certain food or having a balanced diet according to seasons, you can maintain a more balanced health, right? And we also have Chinese massage, also known as tuina, qigong or martial arts. That's considered using movements to guide your body's qi, the energy, because that's the underlying the more fundamental energy of any visible symptoms, right? As we talked about earlier. In herbal medicine, herbal medicine are more extreme than food, because in order to correct the imbalance, you have to use something that has the nature of extremity, right? Extreme. So in order to maintain health, you can actually avoid taking any medication or herbal medicine just by doing what we call external treatments like acupuncture or qigong movement. And also we can use music to treat illness, but that's a whole other topic. So coming back to acupuncture, because our body has qi, and the qi is moving, right? We have the qi dynamics, but where are those qi moving in the body? So far we cannot find any structure that holds the qi. It's not the nerve, it's not the muscle, not the vessel. It's actually the space that between those visible structures. So that's actually also discovered by Taoists in the past, that they can literally have an inner vision of their body, and they can feel and they can record those feelings. So eventually, those maps were developed, the maps of those meridians. Acupuncture, what acupuncture does is to stimulate those areas that has qi accumulation. Those the acupressure points are on the meridians, right? But what makes the acupuncture points is that when the qi moves to that area and that gathers together, and then it forms an acupuncture point, or we call it an acupuncture point. So by using needles, or even using your finger or any other type of tool that can help stimulate the energy, the qi to move, that can be considered a treatment. So using needle, you can actually insert the needle into the space underneath of the skin, underneath of the physical structure, to get a deeper stimulation compared to using your hand or fingers or other modalities. And there's something called a therapeutic level. So you have to get to that level in order to activate the qi in the meridian. So by using acupuncture, we unblock the meridian, we harmonize yin and yang, and also strengthen the righteous qi and dispel pathogen. And what guides the treatment is to regulate the spirit and preserve qi, and clear, to balance yin and yang. We clear heat and also warm the cold, right? And if there's any deficiency or excess, we tonify deficiency, we purge excess. And some people might ask, is acupuncture needle a type of injection? Are there any medicine in the acupuncture needles? There's no, actually. So it's a very physical, but it also energetic stimulation. But how do we treat deficiency? Like, if you want to add something, how can we add something to with the needle to the body? So the answer is actually when there's deficiency, because there's some excess in the body that blocks the qi to nourish the tissue, to support the body part. So by removing some of the excess, you can as a result, you can support the body deficiency. And because the qi is everywhere, and it's really, I think this is the real and the art of Chinese acupuncture, because we're not just putting needles in the area that has pain, or because the meridians are connect throughout the body. I treat lower back pain by putting needles around the neck or even on the hand. And to treat a headache, sometimes I put the needles on the hand because these meridians are connected. And sometimes there is a better result using this type of treatment, because it's like you are playing a kite, right? You're not going up the sky to take that off. You're actually controlling by holding the string. And that's, I think it's a good example of how we treat a certain condition in the body, that actually choosing an acupuncture that far from the site of the condition. And here's a list of the application of Chinese acupuncture from, I think it's from WHO, the World Health Organization. But again, I wanted to be clear that even though you have the same condition, there might be a different pattern and from another person that has the same condition. So we always have to look at your tongue, take your pulse, ask a question, and treat the condition based on the underlying imbalance. And that's my presentation for today. And do we have time for questions? Of course. I'm gonna stop recording. Yep. Oh, it really depends on how severe the condition is and how many conditions are being treated. As I said earlier, that it's a very holistic treatment. So not only we can address the issue in the heart, or treat some type of pain, or support your sleep quality, but every time you come in with something we call chief complaint, and we try to look at what's the underlying cause is. And some underlying causes are hard to treat, so we have to take steps. Some are relatively simple, like someone coming having a stiff neck from just yesterday, right? And it has a relatively short length of illness, so that's relatively very easy to treat. Usually 30 minutes, 1 hour session after the treatment, you can feel 80% better. And then, but also one thing else I wanted to mention is that it really depends on how your righteous qi is, like how your immune system is, how strong your immune system is, and how you change your lifestyle to support your healing journey. So that's also important. I always encourage patients to make some changes themselves and learn some skills so they can support themselves between those treatments, rather than just relying on the doctor and giving a prescription or having a treatment. Then that's not the philosophy of Chinese medicine. With acupuncture, we empower the body, we initiate the healing process. But really, I think the body has its own ability to heal. It's just the matter of how fast and that I think that should answer the question. Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like there's something going on either in the shoulder or the neck, but this is more of a Western diagnosis, right? And so what we look at, something like a nerve pain, is that when the qi is stagnated, that causes pain. So when there's pain, we always look at where the qi is stagnated. So also depending on where the pain is, as I showed you earlier, there are meridians. Let's go back to this page here. So there are, on the arm, the medium side is considered the yin side, and the lateral side is considered the yang side. So depending on where the nerve pain is, we look at either the yin or the yang, which meridian is affected. And we do palpation on the meridian, see where there is a blockage or there is a tender spot there. And we release the tension to allow more circulation to happen to that area. And if we notice that there is a pain in the neck, and then we also will do some local points to the neck to help release that tension there. So that's a simple, like more relatively simple answer, but there might be something else we need to look into during the consultation. Mm-hmm. I do use herbs, but herbs are not just single herbs. There are many different forms of herbs. There could be a granule, could be powder, could be a decoction, and it really depends on what your needs are. And maybe we can talk about herbs at another time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, of course. Um, if if um, um, if anybody is interested in food, how to use food to support our health, you can actually go to my website, and there's a in the event page, there's a lecture coming up on the 28th, and it's a free lecture, and you can learn about how we look at food and how that can support your daily life. Mm-hmm. Yes, that sounds good. Thank you so much, Sandra. Thank you for having me. Thank you. Well, thank you. I hope it's not too complicated, because there's a lot of idea people are not quite familiar with. But I thought that's important. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Of course. No problem. And I'll send you the flyer shortly. Thank you so much. Yeah, take care. Have a good rest of your day.